cowardly, unwashed, angry, shouty kefir enthusiasts, students as well, tried to take over university campuses today so that they could commemorate the day an Islamist terror group tried to kill as many Jews as possible. In Edinburgh, some vegans tried to summon up the strength to bang a drum. Then this 2-ton tofu Tessie turned up with a megaphone.
I
think we could take you now to Glasgow University.
Free the 48!
Free the 48!
We don't want no true state!
We don't want no true state!
Here they are shouting, "Long live the Intifada," outside King's College London. Queen Mary University shouting out at people with blood on their hands. They've been at it in Belfast. But I've got to tell you, the mask completely slipped with this one.
I think freedom will be achieved when the Israelis go back to where they were born, which is probably America, Poland.
So
whatever.
you mean leaving the state of Israel? Is that what you mean? You don't believe in the state of Israel?
No, I don't.
You don't understand why Jewish students might feel uncomfortable by that on campus today?
No, I don't. I mean, I understand why they might feel like that, but I don't think that their feelings are valid.
Goodness gracious me. For the most part, I just think that they're pathetic cowards. Why are loads of them covering their faces? I mean, if we look at this lot, they'll tell you that they don't want to show their faces because they're scared of what the fascist state will do to them. I reckon they don't want their mummy and daddy to find out. They don't want any future employers to find out. That's how much they really care about Gaza. They'll buy the Palestinian flag, they'll buy the keffiyeh, they'll make a little placard. But when push comes to shove, they don't actually want anyone to know who they are, because deep down they know that doing this on October the 7th really suggests that they support what Hamas did. I mean, look at these two. You zoom in a bit on the one with the black jacket on there. I mean, you can tell that's just a really scrawny white person, can't you? After a long morning of waking up, rolling out of bed at about 11:30 a.m, smoking something herbal, nibbling on a bit of tofu. They've gone to show glory to our martyrs. I mean, martyrs? What? Like these guys? Oh, solidarity, comrades. Apparently at Liverpool University, they've had a Palestine bake sale. It's called Time for Dessert. Dessert, you say? Do you mean that you think this was the main course? But the problem goes much deeper than nutty students. This post is from an NHS doctor. She claims to work in trauma and orthopaedics. She says, glory to the breaking of the 17-year illegal siege. Glory to the Palestinian resistance. Glory to the martyrs. The picture there of a bulldozer going into Israel. At some point, we're going to have to confront the fact in this country that loads of these public sector workers, people in the NHS, our schools and the civil service, have these views. On today of all days, a group called Intifada 87. By the way, I believe that's in relation to Hamas being founded in 1987. But anyway, they're going to march from the BBC to Downing Street. Can you imagine if people did this on the 2-year anniversary of 9/11 or on the 2-year anniversary of 7/7? By the way, while they were all out marching for Palestine, Hamas launched rockets at a town that they attacked on October the 7th. Then these two grinning little slime balls removed yellow ribbons from near a synagogue in Finchley today. Now, I've got a message for the people celebrating October the 7th today. You can take your intifada and you can shove it up your backside. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We have got Reform's Jamie McIver, The Telegraph's Poppy Coburn and journalist Jonathan Liss. Jamie, I'll start with you on this. Just utterly deplorable scenes yet again. We're having to confront. So that girl, that's zoning on that girl there at that university who said basically she didn't think that the Jews were of value and that Israel didn't have a right to exist and the Jews need to leave.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Patrick, when you said the mask has slipped, because we all know these have been anti-Semitic hate marches. I don't care what anybody says, that's exactly what they are. And I'm ashamed to see them on the streets of the capital city of this great country. And watching some of those clips across the country, I cannot believe that is my country that it's happening in. I really can't. And you know, these people should be utterly ashamed of themselves. We all have things that we care about in politics. We all want to speak out about them, but there is a time and a place. And what we have seen from this utterly anti-Semitic campaign is hatred towards Jews, hatred towards Israel. The state of Israel is a sovereign state. It has a right to exist. In my opinion, there is one state solution. It's called the State of Israel. It already exists. And what we have seen is this government encourage this behaviour. I don't believe a word that Shabana Mahmood says when she said this is unpatriotic, or when Keir Starmer said it's not British. What is completely un-British and unpatriotic is that we have given in to terrorists by acknowledging a Palestine state.
Sorry. When you say a one-state solution, it's called Israel.
Yes.
Are you saying that the entirety of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank should be incorporated into that state of Israel?
I'm saying there is a state that exists. It's called the State of Israel.
OK, there's also the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, which are not part of Israel. Are you saying that is there a reform policy that should be now one state of Israel?
Is that one state of Israel? My own opinion.
OK,
I do not want to see a state born of terrorism.
All right. So, I'm sorry, and this is really important, Jamie. It's really important for what we're talking about. Do you think, you just said there's one state called Israel.
Yeah.
So are you saying that the Gaza Strip and the West Bank are part of that state, the Jewish state of Israel?
We're talking here about the UK.
Yes,
right?
No, Jamie's the one bringing Israel into it.
I understand that, but let's bring this conversation back to what's actually happening in Britain.
You can't answer, I noticed. That's quite interesting.
Let's bring this back to what's happening in the UK. Frankly, I think what that student said was really revealing, because I think it speaks of an ideology that has actually captured a lot of people's minds. And I'm not in favour of banning things, by the way. I don't trust the state to ban marches or whatever. I think they'd abuse the power. But the woman, when she said that Jews in Israel should go back to America, and even more obscenely to Poland, I mean, frankly, there was a reason why Jews left Poland. I mean, a lot of them didn't actually get to leave Poland because of the Holocaust. But I think it speaks to the fact that, like, there is obviously a legitimate position to take in opposing Israel's war in Gaza. OK, that's completely fine. This is different. If you are carrying a bloody banner that says glory to the martyrs on a 2-year anniversary of a massive terror attack that attacked people for being Jewish, there is no moral high ground there. That is a completely alien ideology that must be called out, cannot be equivocated on. Like, these people, there is something wrong with them. That is extreme. It is extremism. Yeah. And I think you have to be able to draw a line now where you say, if your brain has been so kind of, you know, just toxified in this ideology of thinking that you have the moral high ground, that you think on the anniversary of a terror attack, now is the time to talk about glory to the marters, then I'm sorry, I don't want you here.
Is there anything there that you actually want to call out and criticise?
Patrick, there are slogans at every march that I would find extremely offensive and distasteful.
Was there anything there that you would openly condemn?
I would say glory to the martyrs, for example, is a very distasteful thing to say if you're referring to people who killed innocent civilians. Yeah. I would say that would be
and what
extremely...
that woman said about Israel as well, presumably.
Well, sorry, if you're talking, which particular comment are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about any of the clips that you saw.
The girl who said that she thought that Israelis should just go back to America.
I think that's wrong as well. I think that's wrong as well.
Jewish people's opinion's not valid?
Well, look, I'm a Jewish person, Jamie. I'm the only Jewish person on this panel. Obviously, I think Jewish people's opinions are valid. And I happen to disagree with... I mean, you seem to be speaking for Jewish people. I don't claim to speak for Jewish people. I claim to speak for myself. I am saying that I think that people have an absolute right to protest. And the 7th of October did not only mark that horrific and barbaric attack by Hamas, it also marked the start of what has turned into, by global consensus, a genocide. And people have every right to protest that.
But why did... even if you accept, right, even if you were of the view that it's genocide, can you not turn around and go, well, why did that start on that day then? Why did Hamas did?
Patrick, you could. Well, look, nothing.
So let's go
we can go back. We can go back. We can go back to hundreds of years. You can start. You can choose the start of this conflict any time. It's saying it didn't start on the 7th of October. But even if it had started on the 7th of October, then it still wouldn't justify genocide.
Tell you what, whoever makes
Israel is responsible. Hamas is responsible for what Hamas did on the 7th of October, and Israel is responsible for what Israel has done since that.
I think they're cowards. I mean, the absolute total cowards, covering all their faces so much of the time. I mean, what does that say? I mean, seriously, I've got so much conviction in my belief. I'll go out and I'll be really anti-Semitic, but I don't want anyone to know it's me.
Okay, I do completely understand what you're getting at, but I'm sure you also recognise that there is a subsection of people who have been self-radicalising, who live in the West, who are not directly implicated in this conflict at all, who I think are genuinely, melting their brains with this stuff in a way that's quite dangerous, and are inculcating themselves with this kind of, strange, decolonial ideology, which makes them think they have a more high ground, where that is clearly crossing a line.
Look, there are entirely legitimate critiques to be made about the state of Israel, the foundation of the state of Israel, the citizenship laws of the state of Israel. I have
just a war of good versus evil, right? It is more
Poppy, I have
which you
more,
recognise.
of course, I have more right to go and live in the state of Israel than someone whose families lived there for centuries. I think that's wrong, and I have every right to critique it and to protest it.
Just to drag it back to here again, what on earth is going on at our universities? But also, not just that, sorry, that NHS doctor who shared a picture of a bulldozer going through saying glory to the martyrs. I mean, she is referring to Hamas. There can be no, she pictured it. She literally provided us with a photograph. She's treating people in the NHS.
Well, then this is what petrifies me. You see it in universities, you see it in schools, you see it all the time. There are people with positions of responsibility where actually every now and then they should recognise that actually, I think actually Robert Jenrick made this point very well about activist judges. If you want to go and talk about all these things, I believe in freedom of speech, but some people have responsibilities where actually it is inappropriate, and I would argue that's a great example of it. But back to your point about universities, what petrifies me is the coercion and indoctrination of young people. You've actually labelled it perfectly. They're melting their brains and obsessing over something, and they're not getting their facts right.
Do you think that, do you not see that people are watching what has been happening in Gaza to the people of Gaza for 2 years? Surely you're not defending that. And you say that they have an absolute right to protest. Our government has been sponsoring that, and we have a right to protest it.
On October 7th, though, I'm sorry. Again, I agree. People.
I would not do it myself, Poppy.
And glamorising Hamas, there has to be a line.
I agree that, as I've said many times,
talk about children.
As I've said many times, I don't support those slogans at all.
But that's what those people are doing.
We're talking about whether I think it's a good thing, whether I think it should be illegal. Those two things are different.
No,
I don't think it's good, but I think it should be illegal. I think a lot of those slogans are bad. Absolutely.
I think it's a cancer in our society.
But also, where are the chants calling for, the safety of children? Where are the chants calling for, victims and civilians caught up in the war? There's never any of that.
Yeah.
It's always hatred chants, anti-Semitic chants towards Jewish people.
What do you define as an anti-Semitic chant? Something that's against Israel is not anti-Semitic.
No, I disagree with you. Calling for the eradication of the only Jewish state.
You literally just called for the eradication of the West Bank and Gaza Strip 2 minutes ago.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Please take the opportunity now to explain what you meant when you said that there is already one state. It's called Israel. What happens to Gaza and West Bank?
You said that they are concerned about the war, and you never hear them calling out things like civilian deaths. You never hear that.
I'm just going to tell a very quick anecdote, something that happened to someone I know yesterday. There was someone who was cutting down yellow ribbons around the North London area, and then a Jewish lady confronted one of those people, and then just not confronted them. They had a conversation, but they didn't really agree on anything. And then she sat down to have a coffee afterwards, and then someone who was very close to the girl who was cutting down those ribbons came and started screaming and shouting at her and attempted to hit her, just because she was Jewish, by the way. So they seemed unable to tell the difference between anything the IDF was doing or anything like that. But there's also the propensity to violence just towards someone who happens to be Jewish. I mean, the shocking thing about that was, she said, that's just happening all the time now. It's not really about Israel, in my view. It's about the Jews. But anyway, I want to know what you think. Were the pro-Palestine protests today on the 2nd anniversary of October the 7th massacre un-British? You can scan the QR code on your screen now to vote in that poll.